Hi guys, my name is Patrick, but you can call me 26, and what we're going to do today is we are going to talk about a classic Leetcode question, and this is going to be twosome, right? Now twosome involves you're given an array of integers and a target number. Return the two indices of the two numbers that add up to the target. You can assume that there will be a solution, right? So that's what it asks. And what we can have here is we have our number, our array of numbers, num, and I've just included the indices of them, right? And our target in this case is going to be 12. So you're supposed to return the two indices that add up to 12. So what that looks like is this, right? Now there are several ways you could do that, and I'm going to concentrate on the way that has the best time efficiency, because as you know, space is time has a higher premium than space. Space is more accommodating, right? So you should always try and maximize, and the optimum solution should always be the one that maximizes on the time efficiency, right? So here we are going to use a dictionary or a hash map to solve this problem. And what that looks like is we're going to loop through the nums array and put them, the number is going to be the key, and then its index is going to be the value in the key value pair of the dictionary or the hash map. So let's proceed, right? So we take all the numbers, put them in, and this is what it looks like: 4, 0, all the way to 7, which also is lucky. So it's 7 for the key and 7 for the value. So what you're going to do is we're going to look for the complement, and the complement is going to be defined as the target minus the number. So for example, the target and the actual number, and then we're going to get the complement and look if the complement is available on our dictionary, right? So let's get to work. So we start with the very first element, and the complement in this case is going to be 4, where we get the target 12 minus the number 4, and we get the complement of 8. And we check, can we find 8 in our dictionary? And the answer is no, we have not come across an 8. So that means that we cannot find two numbers. Start using 4, we cannot find another number that add up to the target. And we go to the next number. We repeat the process. 12 minus 1 should give us 11. And we ask ourselves whether the complement exists. And if you look, we can't find a complement. And we go to the third number. 12 minus 3 is going to be 15. And if we look for the complement, it does not exist. And we proceed to the next number. 12 minus 9 is going to be 3. We have negative 3, but no 3. So that means that we cannot find a pair for 9, and we proceed to the next number. And in this case, we have 12 minus 10, which is 2, right? 12 minus 10 is 2, and we do have 2, and this is the case. So we return the indices of the two numbers. In this case, you can see that the indices are 4 and 5. So that's the answer that we want to return. So basically that's it, and we can terminate the loop when you find this, right? But ideally, you will have to put all the elements in the nums array. So yeah. So you might not get it on your first pass through, so you might have to, at least in a worst case scenario, go through the nums array once, right? So we could just stop there, because now we know that we have actually found the result, and we could put all this information into code. So we have our code here, and what we want to do is we first create the result array, and we could call this something like res, and this is going to be an array of integers. So we come here and say int, make it empty like so. And then we have our dictionary array, and that's what you're going to return, right? It requires us to return an array of the integers, right? And we have a dictionary, so we say dict, and dict is going to have it's going to have the integer as a key and an integer as a value, and it's going to also start off as empty. So we are going to loop through the entire nums array, and we could use the enumerated, and enumerated gives us access to the index and the value. So we come here and we say in the array, we say the index and the value. The value is the element, right? In nums dot enumerated, right? So this is going to give us access to that, and we get the complement. So we say let complement, and that's going to be the target minus the value in the element in the array, right? So we get that. And after that, we check if it's available in our dictionary, right? What you're going to do at the end is we're going to be putting it in the dictionary. So we come here and we say dict like so, and we're just going to take the value, and the value, which is going to be the key, and the index is going, in this case, the index is going to be the value. I know it can sound a bit confusing, but the value is the element from our array, and the index is the index from our array, and that's going to be the value in the dictionary. So we put that. Now, what we're going to be doing here is checking if there's a complement such that the complement exists in our dictionary, right? If that exists, what we want to do is come here and we say return. And what do we want to return? We want to return either the current index and the j, because remember we're saving the value. The value in this case in the dictionary is going to be the index, right? So we return j, right? So that's going to be that. And at the end of this, just return result. That is if you can't find something, but you have been told there's definitely going to be an answer. But because this is Swift, we have indicated that this is going to be return an array of integers. So we could just return an empty one just in case, right? But the question tells us that there's going to be an answer, right? So we could actually do that, and we could put it to the test by saying here to sum, and the nums here is going to be the nums, and the target in our question is going to be 12. And if we do that, we should get an array of 2 integers, right? An array of 2 integers, and this is going to be 5, 4. You can return them in any order. In this case, 4, 5, 5, 4. So we know that with our test case, it works. Let's put it through its paces. So let's run it through Leetcode, and we run it through the test cases, and it's taking its sweet time. And if we submit it for all the cases, let's see if it works. It actually works, and we can now proceed to talking about the time complexity and the space complexity. And the time complexity is going to be O of n, and the reason why this is the case is because we have to traverse at least once. In the worst case scenario, we have to traverse our array at least once, right? So the longer the array, the more time it's going to take, right? And for the space complexity, it's going to be O of n, because we have to create, if you don't count the dictionary that the array that we create, because the array that we create is only going to have 2 elements of the number, right? So the other thing we're going to have to create is going to be the dictionary, and the dictionary is going to have certain number of keys and a certain number of values, right? So if you have a longer array, that would mean that it would have more keys and more value, right? Key value pairs, right? So it's going to be the time and space complexity are both going to be O of n.